baik tu dia jadi beratahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, opposition MPs walk out after Speaker's ruling. Opposition explains its actions. And PM says work continues despite boycott.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spade.
In ruling out a petition submitted by opposition MP Viliameng Avoka, the Speaker of the House Ratuepeli Nailatikau explained he did so because it did not meet the standard requirements. The Speaker, as part of his ruling, further elaborated for all members of the House the necessary 18 standards that must be met to ensure the admissibility of future petitions. Ngavoka had submitted a petition that a proposed mining project of the Singatoka River be reviewed by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Natural Resources. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
It is my ruling that regardless of the issue of contention, this petition cannot be tabled in Parliament.
Crystal clear. Of the 3 opposition petitions brought to the Speaker's attention, 2 had been withdrawn and 1 was dead in the water.
As in each instance, it seeks action which is not within the powers of Parliament to take.
The Speaker of the House also used the occasion to reiterate that there are clear standards when petitioning Parliament.
Again, I remind honourable members that the use of petitions in Parliament for such a purpose is fundamentally and legally flawed and ignores the fact that by written law, Parliament has given the authority to the relevant officer to make the decision.
The petitioner then raised a point of order.
The situation in Singatoka is grave.
Honourable member, when I am making a ruling, you do not interfere. That should be clear to you. You have been a member of long standing, and I respect that. But you've got to respect the procedures of the House.
The Speaker made it a point to be clear that disorder would not be tolerated. Ratuepeli told the House that only last year, despite several clarifications, he had to dismiss 6 petitions under similar circumstances. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Immediately after the Speaker's decision, opposition members walked out of Parliament. The SEDELPA and National Federation Party MPs say they did the honourable thing as they are unhappy with the Speaker's decision against MP Viliameng Avoka's petition. This is not the first time that the opposition has walked out of the House. Apinisa Wangarandovu has the drama that unfolded.
Honourable Speaker, we are totally disappointed with this ruling, and we believe this is totally unacceptable. I'm sorry not to say that, Honourable Speaker.
The opposition says they want clarification as to why the Speaker of Parliament dismissed the petition by MP Viliameng Avoka, who called for a holistic review by the Standing Committee on Natural Resources on the proposed mining project at the Singatoka River.
We are going to be writing to the Speaker for clarification on that point and our stand on the extra points he made during the ruling. There's not much more that we can say at this time. We exercised our right to present our views, and if we were not happy with the ruling, the honourable thing to do is to walk out of the chamber.
National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad supporting the walkout, chipping in, saying they are also unhappy with the decision made in Parliament.
Walkout of Parliament is a way to show our disappointment, and that's an acceptable way to do that. It happens in most Parliament.
The government side of the House denounced the act, saying the opposition continuously shows disrespect to the Parliament and in this instance, the Speaker.
They continuously show disrespect to this Parliament, disrespect to you and disrespect to the Fijian people and the very institution of Parliament by walking out at every drop of the hat. And it's very shameful, Mr. Speaker, sir. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I would urge that you, please, Mr. Speaker, sir, consider these actions to tantamount to enormous, not just abuse of the process, but enormous disrespect and dishonor to your office and to the office of, and to this very institution, and that we need to send a huge lesson to them that they cannot simply do this and that they should not be allowed to come back, at least for a period of time, through your ruling, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Speaker of Parliament Ratuepeli Nailaticao says he is the only speaker who has had the experience of both government and opposition having to work out on, and says this is not new to him and he expects this from the opposition. Apinisa Wangardobu, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has brushed off the opposition's walkout of Parliament today. Bainimarama says the work continues despite the absence of 24 members of the House.
I really don't have any comment except to say that you note that we're still in there because the Speaker will make us work for our pay. And of course life goes without, carries on without the opposition.
And despite calls by some members of government for disciplinary action, the Prime Minister instead questioned the opposition on whether today's actions would be commonplace.
It'll be up to the Speaker. I really have no say in that, except to say that if every time they don't agree with a petition decision by the Speaker, they're going to walk out.
Also, Government MP Alvik Maharaj says the continuous walkout by the opposition members was becoming a farce. He says it was disservice to the voters who elected the opposition MPs, and in particular was critical of NFP leader Biman Prasad.
Once again, NFP has showed that they bow down to in front of opposition leader and follow Sodelpa like their tail. Once again, NFP has showed they follow Sodelpa and don't have their own stand. Or rather, the two NFP members have more say than their leader himself, and NFP leader is just a puppet dancing on their tune.
Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Qayyum has hit out at National Federation Party leader Biman Prasad for making claims that the government is not working with the unions. In Parliament, Prasad claimed the Fiji First government has a history of wrecking the trade unions and workers' movement, something which has been denied by the government. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The NFP leader claiming that the Fiji First government have disturbed the peace within trade and workers' union.
The tripartite infrastructure, the tripartite structure worked very well in this country. We had a harmonious industrial relations environment in this country for many, many years, until this government wrecked that relationship. And they are continuing to wreck the relationship.
Disputing this fact, government says it has always been in support of trade unions and continues to uphold workers' rights. Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Qayyum adds the current government introduced the minimum wage scheme and constantly reviews it.
That's a fact of life. No other government actually brought in the minimum wage. It has been continuously reviewed. $2, $2.32, $2.64. And there's another review currently being carried out by the Honourable Minister under his guidance.
While urging the opposition and unions in the country to be more involved, Said Qayyum says the current government has also made huge strides in providing for civil servants.
We have had nurses that have been paid over 80%. Today, heads of schools get overpaid $100,000 in large schools. Completely unheard of. Today, the wages bill of civil servants alone, including the discipline forces, is $4 million a day.
The minister adds they will continue to encourage locals to apply for top positions in government and urged workers and union members to work together in taking the country forward. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Up ahead, qualified psychologists to join police force. And over 20,000 benefit from Parenthood Assistance Scheme. Details after the break.
Nadang go approach lang kerse, go erkraki. Do televi ono barong na Radio Fiji One, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji One, nandomo ibiti.
The Fiji Police, as part of its restructural process, will soon recruit qualified psychologists to boost the productivity of the workforce. This was the statement made by the Minister for Defence and National Security, Inia Serratu, in Parliament this afternoon. Chosaina Nunga with the details.
Custodian in maintaining law and order in the country, the force still has identified areas that need serious attention.
In the restructure of the Fiji Police Force, they need to have qualified psychologists to assist them in managing the stress level within the force.
The force in the recent years has shifted its attention to an equitable workforce by increasing the number of female recruits, something that has got the full backing of the Women's Minister.
I'd like to applaud the Fiji Police Force for the continued improvement in the recruitment of women into the Fiji Police Force, which I understand sits at 20% at the moment. We hope that there will be a continued rise in the statistics in relation to women in the Fiji Police Force.
The force has also mapped out strategies to curb other issues, such as data collection, work facilities, and adopting latest technology to ease workload. The minister also highlighted the Police Act is currently being reviewed by the Solicitor General's office and is to be finalized soon. Chosaina Nunga, FBC News.
The Ministry for Justice has processed over 20,400 applications since the launch of the Parenthood Assistance Payment Scheme. Speaking in Parliament, Minister for Economy Aya Said Kayum said as of January, the government has disbursed a total of $20.4 million to parents who have registered their children. Said Kayum says the scheme has been very convenient for new mothers.
The ability for the mother to be able to sit in a hospital bed and to be able to send the application through the app that's there has proven to be actually very useful. And it becomes a one-stop shop. They don't have to go running around, etc. And they just go once, they get the registration done, they get the birth certificate. If they do it through the phone, it's completely free, and they get the account opened within with the bank itself, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The total cost of damage caused by Tropical Cyclone Sarai amounted to over $10 million. Minister for Disaster Management, Chonio Somate, says the agriculture sector sustained the most damage, followed by infrastructure, housing and the education sectors. Lena Rees has more.
While residents in some parts were still recovering from the effects of Tropical Cyclone Sarai, another cyclone hit the country, affecting mostly the northern division. Assessment following TC Tino revealed damages costing more than $6 million, with the sugar industry affected the most.
The NDMO has received the Northern Division damage assessment for Tropical Cyclone Tino and is working with the other 4 divisional commissioners on the total damages incurred by Tropical Cyclone Tino.
2 lives, that of a father and a daughter, were also lost during Tropical Cyclone Tino.
The Ministry will continue to work on improving our goal to minimize loss of lives in the event of a disaster. We will continue to work with our humanitarian partners and donors to ensure that people of Fiji are well informed pre, during and after disaster.
In an effort to promote disaster risk reduction, Usamate highlighted that soon after the passing of Tropical Cyclone Tino, the Fiji Emergency Medical Assistance Team conducted awareness on proper hygiene measures to avoid the spread of any diseases. Lena Rees, FBC News.
Foreign Affairs Minister Inia Serratu says they are working on inviting Tonga's Foreign Minister to hold discussions on the dispute over the Minerva Reef. The Minerva Reef is located to the south of Fiji and Tonga. Serratu says both countries hold different opinions of what the reef is, as Tonga believes it is an island, while Fiji believes it is a submerged reef. He says the Tongan minister was invited for discussions in November last year. However, that did not eventuate.
It's very, very critical now for us to register our baselines and all our claims because of the rising sea level. Because maybe, who knows, in the next few years, some of these baselines will be underwater again. And this is why we need to quicken the process.
And Koroi joins us now with the latest from business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break, digital transformation simplifies business setup. And in growing Fiji, Fiji Flash guidance system installed. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Kadavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Leading business, the Minister for Industry and Trade today stressed that the business license reform will be a game changer for all businesses. Pramila Kumar says the reform will bring ease in setting up a business by reducing the time from initial 40 days to approximately 8 days. Digitizing the process to issue business licenses has seen an increase in successful applications.
Nosuri Town Council has seen a 72% increase in issuance of business licenses in January 2020 compared to the same period last year. That is, 810 business licenses were issued in January 2020 compared to 470 in January 2019. In Suva, 193 new business licenses were issued compared to 74 in January 2019. Suva City Council was able to issue renewal of business licenses in less than 24 hours, whilst new business licenses met the 48-hour benchmark.
Pramila Kumar says through the digital transformation program, the ministry will be able to continuously review its licensing process.
The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism is mandated to implement reforms in ease of doing business to ensure business processes are revitalized and Fiji achieves a ranking of 50 by 2025 Doing Business report.
Reforming the business licensing process is part of the larger review process that the government is undertaking to enhance business environment in the country. Sanifa from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the world trading market.
Financial markets clung to tight ranges following a U.S. public holiday today, shifting the investor focus to European news and developments in the coronavirus crisis. The euro fell towards a 3-year low versus the dollar ahead of a highly watched German survey. It is expected to show a sharp fall in investor confidence and fuel growing pessimism about the outlook for Europe's largest economy. Meanwhile, Australia's central bank reviewed the case for a further reduction in the cash rate at its February policy meeting today, but considered the risk outweighed the benefits. The Australian Reserve Bank kept rates unchanged at an all-time low of 0.75%, but the minutes of the meeting showed central bankers are prepared to ease policy further if needed. From HFC Bank, Naka.
Here are today's exchange rates as set this morning. The Fijian dollar strengthened against our two major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand, and also against the euro and the Japanese yen. It weakened against the US and the Canadian dollar and the PNG kina. Looking at the commodities, crude oil decreased slightly, closing at $51.79 per barrel. Gold closed up at $1,586 per ounce. And silver also was up at $17.89. In growing Fiji, the Fiji Meteorology Office has installed a Fiji Flash guidance system which allows them to keep track of the likelihood of floods. Minister for National Disaster Management, Chone Usamate, says the Met Office has mapped out all the likely flood areas in Fiji and advisories and warnings are given accordingly. Usamate says during recent natural disasters, they have seen that flooding is a major issue for us.
We're now fine-tuning our tools to be able to forecast these floods, and as a result of this, we hope to be able to keep our people safe and save our infrastructure, save the people in this country.
Usamate also highlighted that the Met Office now has a hydrology unit which keeps track of rainfall in major rivers and streams that lead to flood basins. He says every year they are adding 7 new stations to monitor rainfall.
Once again, in the new budget year, we will be looking at another 7 additional sites to complement the 40 that we have already. The new ones will be located mostly in Vanua-Levu and also in the Nambotini Flats in Serua. As we know that, this year that we had some floods in that particular area. So we're continually looking to expand our hydrology network.
That's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest from sports.
Thanks, Kuroy, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Ika Nikonda chases Olympic dream. And Lautoka hit by 7 in Vanuatu. Details coming up.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lautoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
With the Olympic Games just 5 months away, the battle for the 13 spots in the Fiji Sevens team is heating up. One player vying for a place is Libai Ikanikonda, who returned to the national squad in Hong Kong last year after 7 years. While some may consider the 30-year-old past his prime, Ikanikonda has proved many wrong with his return and is doing all he can to earn a trip to the Tokyo Games. Aquila Dama with the details.
Levi Ikanikonda thought his career was over 8 years ago, but now he has a chance to make his Olympic dream a reality.
I still need to prove a lot of things on my training and especially on my diet during of the field when I'm staying at home. A lot of cassava and dalo, so need to cut it.
The police officer is strictly watching his diet with the assistance from his family members.
I want to thank the Lord for giving me this talent so I can come back to prepare for the Olympic. And my aim is to play for the Olympic this year.
Fiji Sevens coach Gareth Baber says the last 4 years has gone by pretty fast.
The team are progressing well. I'm really proud of the way that they take on the challenges, learn from mistakes, and then develop themselves. And that's what we're seeing with 3 or 4 of them now, really maturing in the way that they develop.
The Fiji Sevens side is currently preparing for the Los Angeles Sevens that will be played in 2 weeks' time. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Germany have won the first men's tournament of the inaugural HSBC World Rugby Sevens Challenger Series in Chile after beating Hong Kong at 10-0 in a hard-fought final. The 16 competing teams will now move on to Montevideo, Uruguay, where they will play in the second round of the series this weekend. The winner of this Challenger Series will earn promotion to the World 7 Series 2021, which currently features 10 men's and 8 women's tournaments. The Kaiviti Silktails is now recognized as a rugby league football club in Fiji after being handed affiliation provisions by the Fiji National Rugby League. The club has been granted license and have been officially endorsed by the FNRL board as the Fiji Mbati Development Team. Venina Rakautonga with the details.
The Kaiviti Silktails will create a pathway for locals playing in the Vodafone Cup to be drafted into the Ron Messi Cup and play at international club level.
These are local players. We identify their talent, and for them to be drafted into the Silktails and then play in the Ron Messi Cup at that level of competition certainly will augur well with the development that we want to do for rugby league. And we thank the Silktail and the management and those that are looking after the Kaiviti Silktails for this wonderful opportunity.
Manager Jacqueline Shannon says the Silktails running as a club will provide an opportunity for local players to sharpen their talents.
This has been a 6-year process in establishing the Kaiviti Silktails Rugby League Football Club, and we thank the new FNRL board and the executive chairman in recognizing our club and its role to assist the FNRL development pathway in providing the very best opportunity for the local players to excel and fulfill their talents.
The Kaiviti Silktails will head to the west at the end of this week to prepare for their first international encounter against Hela Wigman, a Papua New Guinean team at the Melanesian Cup. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
The International Rugby League Board has expelled Tonga from the sports governing body. This is the latest move in a long-running battle over governance, money, and a threatened player boycott. The TNRL has been suspended since October after it sacked national coach Christian Wolff over disagreements around control and finances, which led players to threaten a boycott of the World Cup Nines and end-of-season tests. The IRL recommended a package of reforms for the sport in Tonga in December. 30 days of consultation ended last month, and in a statement, the IRL confirmed a resolution has been passed at a board meeting 4 days ago to expel Tonga NRL from membership. Tonga Rugby League has 1 week to appeal the board's decision. Weightlifting was the only sport that disrupted swimming and rugby's dominance at the recent Fiji Sports Awards. The two weightlifting awards could signify a new beginning for weightlifting Fiji, which has endured a lot of negative attention in recent time. Aquila Dama with this report.
The journey continues for weightlifting Fiji as they won the Young Male and Female Athlete of the Year awards.
I didn't know that I was going to come this far and win an award during the awards night. I just want to train harder so I can at least shift my medals to go to gold, and that's I want to accomplish more in competitions.
Young Female Athlete of the Year Rebecca Johns will first have to concentrate on her studies before continuing with her training.
Right now, I'm not in training because I have school exams, but my next step is to get back to weightlifting and to participate and to win more medals for Fiji.
Both young weightlifters attend Gospel High School in Suva. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Lautoka football endured a hammering by Ley City FC in their second Group B match of the OFC Champions League in Vanuatu today. Manchester United closed in on the Champions League places with a 2-0 victory over Chelsea. United closed to within 3 points of Chelsea in fourth place, with headed goals either side of the interval from Anthony Martial and Harry Maguire. Our play of the day is taken from round 2 of the OFC Champions League, and it's a goal by Kolu Kepo of Papua New Guinea club Hekari United in their 2-1 loss to Eastern Suburbs. That's it from Sports Tonight. Later on in the Weird and Wonderful segment, take a look at the work of a Danish artist who is making sculptures out of recycled material. That's coming up.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Joins us now with the latest from weather.
Well, mostly sunny and humid conditions prevailed over most parts of the country. Looking at the west, a blend of sun and clouds with a couple of showers, mainly clear at night. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, breezy this morning with soaking showers, a shower in spots this evening, otherwise mainly clear. Up north, clouds and breaks of sun. It was rather humid. At sea, moderate to fresh east to southeast winds, gusty at times, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, the next low tide is at 9:13 p.m., followed by high tide at 3:27 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:01. For tomorrow, cloudy with occasional showers over Viti Levu and the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, isolated thunderstorms and heavy falls likely. Showers easing over the western parts from tonight. Tomorrow's temperature will still be in the low 30s from tomorrow. Looking further onto Thursday, mostly cloudy and humid conditions in most areas. And that's the weather tonight. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Albanese. In Fijian Pulse, we asked, are you frustrated with the regular water cuts around the country?
We need consistent water supply.
They should fix our water pumps properly.
This constant water cuts is really frustrating, especially for us women. When we want to wash clothes or do the dishes, there is no water in the tap, mainly in the morning and evening.
I was so frustrated about it.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, opposition MPs walk out after Speaker's ruling. PM says work continues despite boycott. And opposition stands by walkout. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, should politicians who spread fake news be prosecuted? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, a beautiful breezy day in Sabu Sabu, sent in by Isaiah Kumisaile. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news, or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Bola, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.